Hey guys, Junior here for another analysis of the third game from this first tournament from the Season 2 up against A1. So in this video I'm going to take a bit more of a team analysis approach rather than focusing on myself like I've done in the previous couple of videos. And that way you guys might get a better understanding of kind of how teams move around the map together. I don't claim to have all the correct knowledge, but I'll just tell you my opinion based off of what I've learnt. And yeah, I'm probably going to leave outlines, player outlines on for this video, just so that I'm not flicking in between them. So yeah, let's just start the game up. I'll probably watch through a situation and then go back and talk about what was going on at the team level and not just the individual level. Alright, so I won't talk too much about the opening, but essentially our team got the railgun. I think the camo guy got burnt, so yeah, obviously the camo and the railgun are the most important things to play for at the start of the game. My team was a relatively new team and our starting strat wasn't amazing, but it worked out in this situation. But from this point of view, or in the game, the enemy team has 3 dead and we have 2 alive. So what we want to do is use our numbers to get control of the middle of the map if we can. So let's see what we do. So here you can see that we kind of took quite a long while to get to the middle of the map. If one of us had jumped up top mid, or maybe we both jumped up top mid, that could have been more ideal. But at the same time, we've got 3 players here together. So we're getting control of the enemy's treehouse side. The enemy's spawning in their generator, so if anything we want to kind of trap those guys there while getting pressure on top mid. So let's see what happens here. So at this point, yes, our team is working together to push into the enemy's base, but we're going to kind of, as we're pushing in here, we're going to meet a pretty high resistance area, and that's why it's better for us to just hold these angles with 1 or 2 players while the rest of our teammates work on getting control of the mid map. So me pushing up through treehouse and Luke potentially helping me get up to top mid so that we can get more angles on front of the enemy's base while also trying to trap them in there. As you can see, this player here is escaping out of their base, and so their plan here would be for 1 or 2 of these players, probably 1 player, to anchor the generator while the other players get out of the base. So now they're creating a play where 3 of those guys can work together while they're anchoring this position. So this guy's got like a really good defensive position here. Even if 2 guys on our team push into him, he can generally delay those guys long enough without dying and still receive help from another player on his team. So this is kind of where the mind games come in at top level of Halo. So yeah, let's just see how this play plays out. If anything, even though we had that advantage at the start of the game after the opening, we didn't really kind of capitalize on that, I guess, in this situation. Both teams kind of look very similar in their positioning at the moment, and so yeah. So in Halo, especially on these 4v4 game types, that one pick, that one kill, can be enough to kind of win each situation if your team is playing it correctly. So obviously having power weapons are amazing because you can get a kill as easy as I just did then. And then at this point you want the players who are inactive on the map, say Luke, to get involved really quick in the battle, while players who are in a battle are just doing their thing, putting on good shots, not dying unnecessarily, getting the kills if they can, but waiting for the extra players on our team, like Luke, to get involved in the battle to make the game easier for them. So I had to back up here because I've got a player fighting me. I think my teammates are doing a good job at using their numbers advantage over there, and Luke is responding to a call at bottom mid. So you can see here that we've able to use that initial pick to get the enemy's flag out of their base, and now we're just listening to callouts, trying to clean up the map before we fight the new spawn. So let's see where I go. Barcodes end up getting a good kill on Pips to slow down the flag. Alright, so here, obviously the flag's right here, so we're going to get to the flag quickly. I could have gone this way, but my teammate was already there on that angle, and I already have a teammate living really well in the enemy's generator, and so I just wanted to get straight to the flag to pressure from this angle. That is a really bad play. I mean, this is kind of devastating, and this wasn't my best tournament. I think when you play with a new team and you're trying to get used to how each other play, you're trying to play call a little bit more, I definitely wasn't playing as good as what I normally would. So here, obviously my main objective is to stop Berserk from getting the return on the flag, and so if I could have just either killed Berserk quicker or picked up the flag without getting grenaded like I did, anything would have been better than what I did here. But Reese is doing a great job of living in their generator. He's pulling the attention of 2 players onto himself rather than dying too quickly, and then Luke has an awesome angle to help out. Looking at this now, I should have just taken that extra second to probably just kill Berserk rather than going for the flag re. I don't think he was like standing on top of it very well. But yeah, he was so close to returning, I really wanted to get that in my hands. Alright, so that play's over. Now the enemy team has like a 4-on-2 advantage. So they're not going to waste time trying to kill us over in the treehouse over there. They're going to probably pressure straight for the objective because there's 2 dead. And if anything, they're either going to, well, we'll see what they do, but they're probably going to trap us at garage while they block the silo spawn. So here's the player going for our flag. The reason I came up here and looked to the right in the first place was because I know that they're going to push for the flag, and if I can just slow that initial player down, well then I'm slowing down their whole play. And my teammate did a great job of watching over me, so I didn't get killed by that player top mid. So I end up getting a good kill on Barcode. That slows down the enemy team's push. Ali realizes that his team isn't going to be getting the flag out of the base at the moment, so he backs up to silo, and Reese is still living in their generator. So now it's about using the pick that we just got to try and take more mid-map control again. So Lucas is pushing up through the treehouse to help Reese. Now, where am I? Alright, so Reese is doing a good job at living on their side. We're actually 2 dead right now, so... Oh yeah, this is the great battle I had with Ali where I got destroyed. So, I had several of these battles this game, really not one of my best games. Let's go look at what we could have done a little bit better here as a team. So, I think Reese is going to their silo. Now, it's not the wrong play to go to silo. Silo is a bit of like a tricky one. So it's really important to block the silo spawn if the enemy team's, you're trying to control where the enemy spawns. So here, I think there's 2 players dead on the enemy team. You don't really want them to spawn silo. So yeah, this is probably fine going to here. Block the silo spawn, plus you get a really good angle on their top mid jump up, so you can clean that guy. Potentially if you're watching the right angle. Yeah, you're blocking the silo and you're also stopping anyone from pushing from porch side to silo. And then you've got your other teammate who comes up top mid who can watch this side of the map. So Lucas gets killed. Pips is cleaning someone out of our base. I'm trying to help Pips, but I'm about to get killed myself. So that's when my teammate saved me. So yeah, it's really just about defense here at the moment. Reese decides to push into the enemy's flag. Now, this is kind of where your teams split, if I could use that term. So after Reese goes to silo, Reese gets nice 2 shots on this player. He actually decides to push his advantage. He probably could have pushed Slazy a little bit more aggressively here rather than taking too long. If he got that kill, that would have been huge, because now Luke can go top mid and try and help him out. And the other 2 players on our team can push together. to the enemy's treehouse, or we could just flood through the map and help Reese if Reese was still living on their side, while ignoring players in their treehouse. I honestly don't know how I don't get this kill. Anyway, I find with the Halo 5 heavy aim, for whatever reason, I find it harder to aim downwards, which is why all these ducking players always get the advantage. So here you have to be careful. I think the only reason I came back here was because I thought that we were winning that battle. Otherwise it's generally better to just push out to the enemy's side. Again, a few bad missed shots there. It's the first tournament I was playing on my new controller, which I really like, the Scuff Prestige, but I'm definitely aiming better now on it than I was on that first day that I was using it, so yeah. The enemy team is going to get this flag cap, and again in Halo, if the enemy team has the flag this close to their base, sometimes it's better for our teammates to just give up on that flag, let them have it, and work on clearing out the other players out of our base. We're getting some element of mid-map control. So I'm fighting for the railgun. Reese is trying to defend our flag here. Reese gets a big kill. At the end of the day though, if he damages that guy a couple of times, turns and looks to bottom mid, that's potentially a bit more team working. As long as you don't die doing it. And then Lucas is on the enemy side here. This is actually a really good angle to use when the enemy team are trying to push for the railgun. So that angle there, or sometimes if you're on this side of the map, watching the front of the base from here when the railgun comes up is good because you can pressure the enemy before they even push into the tunnel. And I end up getting taken out. Let's see where Pips goes here. So Pips has to make a decision. Pips decides not to fight for the railgun because they've already got it, I guess. And he's trying to go up top into the camo, which is a good play. He gets a really big kill there, which is good. Reese has just died in our generator, calling out a player on our porch. I'm just trying to live to Ali here. Thrust really poorly at Ali and die. Ali had my number this game, I think. Alright, so here, Berserk dies, Madzi commits suicide somehow. And so, what our team wants to do is kind of take the path of least resistance straight to the enemy's flag. There's no point kind of all of us pushing over towards this side of the map and trapping them in their flag at this point. We're already here, so we may as well flood their base and trap the enemy on the other side of the map. So I'm just going to sprint straight through treehouse here, like I'm sprinting towards the enemy flag. Honestly, that's the easiest way to play. Like, if you're wondering whether to go top mid here or whether to go this way, pretty much we have a 4-on-2 advantage. If I come up here, I'm not pushing towards the objective. If I come down here, I'm actually blocking a major spawn point and I'm pushing towards the objective. So we're getting closer to getting the flag out of the enemy base. What you do need to be careful here of is players like Slazy, who looks like he's overextending. He realizes that we're going to push for the flag. He's already giving up, and he's trying to push over to our flag to try and play for more of a kind of a flag standoff. He's playing it sneakily as well. So I guess what we do wrong here is that we all flood into the enemy's base, rather than just 3 of us. So once we get this kill, because Luke is kind of like the least pushed up on the map, I would hope that one of these players on our team gets ready to anchor the map, or it would have been okay if Pips stayed up top mid, but because Pips pushed into the enemy's base, I would have hoped that Lucas would jump up top mid here, and he can play here. He can shoot down into the enemy's treehouse, he can shoot the silo spawns, he can turn around and shoot anyone pushing for our flag, and sometimes you can even just anchor like this area, like the porch area, and watch our side from here, or you can, if you're quick enough and you're already in this area, you can anchor this area while your teammates push in, and you can actually shoot the silo spawn while watching the players who are overextending to our side to pull the flag. There's multiple ways you can play it. I personally like top mid because it means that if one of my players dies, that I can just quickly replace them. So here we end up all flooding into the enemy's base. We have no anchor. We have no player in the middle of the map shooting down on the enemy or getting information. They all overextend, and even though we had the advantage, now we have no advantage because they've just flipped the map on us completely.
Red flag taken.
So I make my way back to treehouse here, knowing that my teammates are already in the enemy's base, pulling out the flag. See Mazzy coming down to the silo, he gets cleaned up. Now we've got that first pick, so I decide to push directly in. Now it's 3 on 3. So at this point, when it's a 3 on 3 like this, you want us 3 players to be working together better than what the other 3 players are working together. And at the moment, I would say we're not doing that. I would say Lucas is just right in the middle of potential teamwork from the enemy team. So let's go look at how Lucas ended up here. So as we're running the flag out here, this is where you don't want to get out of your team's position. So Tips is top mid. There's no real reason for Lucas to come. Like if he could have gone top mid and cleaned up Slazy and killed this player, well then now we actually have a 3-man, you know, everyone's working together and we've taken out the person top mid. But when you come down here, you're really kind of opening yourself up to being shot from generator and the guy in garage, and you're not also helping to pressure the players who are shooting at your team. So it's always important to kind of keep that chain connected rather than leaving gaps in the chain. So we end up getting the reset, and I actually think we get the capture here, which is really good. I think this is the first capture of the game, and our only capture. And now we're in a good position to defend this, because we've got a player top mid and the enemy doesn't. So let's see what happens here. We end up getting 1 kill. I think I get killed again here. So here the enemy team is making a great play. They're pushing together into our side. And this means that if you look, I'll show you. So right here, there's obviously no point for them to go back to their base. Barcode's already in the treehouse. Mazzy's living on porch. And so all Barcode and Berserk need to do here is work together to kind of push into this area. Barcode's playing the middleman position, so he's kind of helping the player on porch. But he's also in a position to just jump up and help his teammate if that teammate needs help. So Ali does a good job of living here, and Barcode's there to clean me up. In retrospect, is there anything I could have done better? Potentially. I'll just have a look at what I could have done when I spawned in. So right here, if my teammates are indeed calling out a player front porch, the better play probably would have been to maybe ignore Ali quicker, or just come stand here for a second while responding to my teammates' call out at the porch. If I get that pick and then I hear somebody thrust sliding next to me or running next to me, then I can bait these guys into me and ask for help to attack those guys. But here, for whatever reason, I wasn't listening, or my teammates weren't calling it out, and we didn't get this cleanup. Now the enemy team's flooding through our base together, and you can see that they're all focusing the same thing. So here I have to make the decision, am I going to rotate back to our flag and defend it this way, which involves killing all 4 players. I do have a teammate here, so there is a kind of increased likelihood that I would try and help slow down the flag or get a quick kill on the flag. Whereas if Reese wasn't there, I would be instantly running to the other side of the map. Let's see what happens here. This is a quite strange play, to be honest. Alright, so that was, again, I'm not playing good this game at all, so not my usual move to thrust slide back into the base, especially if we've got the information that there's 4 guys in our base. What should have happened here, I should have been a bit more cautious, probably came over this way, put some shots on if I needed to, but at the moment I think that the flag guy has already gotten through the map and we can't stop him. I need to kind of ignore all the other players and just sprint through and just beat those guys to their own flag and play for a flag standoff. But this is really awful play. Now my next 2 teammates should realize that I made a bad play and make the correct play if it's not too late. So Tips here decides to sprint to the enemy's side. He's trying to beat the enemy to their flag. And he could go elbow here, but yeah, it looks like it's too late. He gets a nice kill there. If he potentially got to elbow a little bit quicker, he might have had a better opportunity to stop it. But yeah, it's once the first player, like myself, makes a mistake and kind of goes out and dies poorly, that makes it really hard for the next players to actually make the correct play that they're trying to do. And they've got one less player to support what they're doing, so everything becomes harder. That's why it's really important to kind of identify and get good information and make the correct play the first time, rather than giving away an easy death. So here I'm on my own, so I should technically be waiting and getting a bit of help. Got one teammate over here who should be grenading up into the treehouse, and this teammate over here can get to me really quickly. So now together we should be pushing this same angle, and this is kind of good. This is what you want. You've got two people kind of shooting that same spot. Third guy should be chucking grenades in there, plus getting ready. Sometimes this third guy can even push like into this area with us and get ready to kind of trade out these kills. And then Lucas, yeah, he can either walk this way and take a battle this way, or he can make a bit more of a sneaky play, but he just needs to be mindful that he's not going to be getting much help right now. So yeah, Ali kind of sneaks through there and gets a nice cleanup on me. I'm not sure how he did that, if we've got a teammate watching over us. Let's watch this one more time. So Reese was watching this, and then he started going for the railgun. So it's not necessarily wrong, it's just a bit rough considering that if that railgun wasn't coming up, he should be kind of shooting this player for us. And sometimes it does even pay to kind of let that railgun sit up for a couple of seconds while you help your team, and then you sprint over to get it. But yeah, this is pretty rough, poor timing. If anything, if the railgun was coming up, it might even mean that, you know, one of us might have made a different play. So it would have made more sense. So when I spawn in, just saying I know that the railgun's coming up here in 15 seconds. I mean, often the best play is to just kind of go up there anyway, but you know, you could just walk down here and get an angle from there as well, and let them be in your treehouse while you're fighting for the railgun. But yeah, that's pretty hard to predict. So I end up dying here. And then Pips is trying to help me. He's also getting pushed. Both angles. It's a really good kill. Reese gets a really good kill. Gets great shots there on the guy up front base. So now, hopefully we're helping each other to kill the enemy out of our base. So Luke looks like he's fighting for camo. Just trying to help kill these guys in our base. Enemy team gets camo. And they're running it. So yeah, here we're just trying to get angles obviously on the flag to try and slow them down. We actually get all three of them dead here, and you just want to quickly double jump on that re and get the return. Alright, so here you just got to predict where the enemy's going to spawn. They've got the spawning silo, so we actually need to be shooting this, which I don't think we are. Luke and I need to be kind of pressuring this spot. I think we were more concerned here about making sure that they actually didn't spawn garage with us, but we should kind of know that. Again, those two players aren't... Oh no. Like, these two guys over here aren't necessarily the most important players on the map. They're in a good position, but this guy here with camo is obviously about to break our whole play. So hopefully I don't pay too much attention to these guys. I really don't like this play that I'm doing. So yeah, I think Slazy ends up killing our flag guy. So if the enemy team has camo and we're running the flag, I should definitely be like right next to that flag guy, escorting him across the map. And then the other two players can just position themselves accordingly. But yeah, the priority there should have been to defend Pips with the flag, so that was a bad play by us. That's it. A quick Fathom game. So Yeah. Whew, what did we learn from that? Um, there was a few disconnected plays. I think it is important to get top mid on this game type, but it's not. Uh, you don't want to kind of over control top mid to the point where you're not pushing the enemy's flag. So, if you can get like a guy here, kind of holding this lane, trapping the enemy in their base from here, a guy up here who's also putting good shots on. Sometimes if you've got a guy up here, like if you've got everyone top mid along these tree houses, it can actually work because you've got really good teamwork. Um, but that's a pretty hard position to get into unless everybody's playing for those positions and you've actually talked about it. Um, you can trap the enemy team at silo, you can trap them in the generator, you can trap them in the garage. To be honest, it doesn't really matter as long as you're all aware of what's going on, and that's where your communication comes down to it. So if you were trapping the enemy team in their generator, for example, you might have a guy sitting at like the silo, blocking the silo spawn, anchoring this position because he's not going to push in here, and then the other three players might, there might be a player here who's kind of locking them in, working with the guy at silo, helping that silo player push in and flank, but also he's available to jump over this way and help his teammates. You might have like one player who's putting some good shots in here, getting ready to jump up onto the sneaky and push down into kind of garage, like through this angle, get to here and put shots on from here. And then you could have another player in the treehouse who comes down towards elbow. So you've got kind of people working together, collapsing around that generator spawn. So you've got all the angles, and that's so much better than say having, a couple of people trying to push in from here, and like one guy's trying to push in from like here. It's all split up. So you want to have all those angles covered. There might be other times though where you get a numbers advantage and you think the quickest way we can get the flag out of the enemy base is by all flooding in through this way. So you might have like 3 guys flood in, 2 through this front area. You might have like a third player who kind of comes in this way, and they're all kind of shooting that garage spawn if the enemy team spawns at garage. Or you might like have one guy, pushing in from this angle, one guy pushing from this angle. You might have a third guy up here watching over them from here until you get, obvious kills that allow you to get in and pull the flag out. Then you might have a fourth guy who's kind of sitting on your porch, locking down and trapping the enemy team into silo and their treehouse. So that's another way to get the flag out of the map. That porch guy could either be here or he could be up top mid, watching from this angle. But the important thing is that you've got 3 guys working together, pushing in that way. Or if you wanted to trap the enemy team silo, then it's kind of like the reverse. So you might have, a guy sprinting in here really quickly. You might have had a guy thrust slide into the enemy's base from here, kind of holding this angle, while the other teammate, well, it depends. But like if you're going to pull the flag out, generally you need kills. But if you've got a really fast flag cap going on, someone could grab the flag and run it out while the other guy blocks, garage. It's really important to block the spawn that you don't want them to spawn at. So you've got the flag running through while you're holding here. Or just say you need to fight for more kills first. You could have like a player here shooting into the silo spawn, another player in the base getting ready to pull it. But you're waiting until you get those extra picks. You might have like another guy up top mid shooting down into them. But being very careful not to die to people pushing up top mid, and then you might have another guy on your porch who's kind of, or even here, who's kind of watching where the enemy team's pushing, not dying from the enemy when they push through, but just slowing them down long enough for your teammates to kind of get the flag out, and for this top mid guy to help if he needs it. So that's 30 minutes up, guys. So I really hope that you learnt something from this. Your best games and your best kills and best kill streaks and best wins and everything is going to come from when your teammates are working together and you're all playing for the same thing, because you're going to get the most team shot and the game's just going to feel easy. Whereas when you start to split off and doing your own things, the game becomes a lot more difficult, and you just don't have the manpower to get the objective work done. So if you guys liked the video, chuck it a like. If you've got anything you want me to work on, I'm going to be growing my content over many months to come. So I'm going to be working on trying to get an intro and an outro for my YouTube channels and some transitions on my stream. But guys, if you've got anything you think that I could work on, any feedback would be greatly appreciated. So thanks guys.